So I'm ready to do some event photography.
Oh my God.
Paul's an event photographer and really knows his stuff. We're here at the Avalon where he's going to teach us everything from his camera settings to what to bring, how to use it, how to carry it, everything you need to know so that when you're done, you can do event photography. So let's get in there and let's get started, see what we can do. So you didn't appreciate my modifier, eh, Paul?
Actually, the modifier has one great feature. The
Yeah?
one great feature is I love this quick release handle.
That's really
You get
nice.
it and you can.
Okay, Paul, so just go through all the equipment that you walk into an event with. Just everything you're going to carry into the event.
First thing is backup, small little light bag, and again, it'll just carry your backup gear. It'll spare batteries, but I'll have it 80-200 for large group pictures. Sometimes I have to shoot a large group. I can grab this, put it on a light stand, which actually doubles as a tripod if I need it for like a low light shot, but also it's also a light stand.
So what cameras are you carrying in?
For wide angle, right now I'm currently working with a Canon 6D 2. It doesn't matter, any full frame will work just as well. Right now I have the 16-35 f4 lens. Sometimes I wish it was 2.8, but the greatest thing about this lens, it's sharp and it has built-in stabilizations, which I like. Sometimes if I have to handhold and go real low light, it's really nice to have. And I just got the A7 III. I like the Rokinon lens. It's a 1.8 lens for available light stuff, so if you want to isolate everything else.
Handhold it. And
your job as an event photographer is to tell the story. When you're in there, you got to get your white stuff, but you got to get your tight stuff, because it's all about, again, professional events, they're usually sponsored by somebody. So you got to make sure that you get those shots. Greatest flash ever.
Yeah, you really love this flash, I know, and I have one, I love it as well.
I've used all Canons. They're quite expensive. When I call it the greatest flash, is because of the price. But the greatest thing about this flash is this battery. No more AA's. This lithium battery. I used to struggle in the middle of, it's like you're getting the batteries, switching them in, switching them out. This battery is fantastic. You switch it in, you pop it in. And actually, it's rare that I have to change it. But
so you have a spare in your bag?
A spare in the bag, but it's very rare that I have to change. And I shoot a lot. I can shoot 2,000 images, 3,000 depends.
Wow, that's amazing. So the Godox has a transmitter here, so you can have the ability to get that out to the side and get it off the camera.
After the battery, the greatest thing about the Godox system is this little transmitter. $70 transmitter.
Yeah.
The other transmitters that's out there could be $300, $400 and up.
So you're not just using the flash, you're using a modifier on it.
You always need you always need a flash. You always need a flash in your system, and even if you're an available light photographer, always have a Speedlight available. One of the reasons I love the Kobra and came up with the Kobra is because I was tired of systems that had these big old magnets on it or had Velcro that were noisy, and I just needed something that just functioned better. What I wanted on a modifier was the light control. I wanted a built-in reflector so the light goes forward. A lot of the modifiers, the light spills everywhere. I'm not photographing over here, I'm photographing this way. This is where I want my light. Also has the second diffusion. So once you have the second diffusion built in, so it hits the reflector and it will diffuse twice. So you get this nice little soft light. It's designed to go on nice and easy, grips on.
That's nice.
Good, and you're in control. I like to use it off camera, so if you want to do group pictures or whatever, or your vertical, there's your vertical bracket shot.
Just if you want to get up higher or out to the side
or whatever. And again, a lot of times too, when it gets dark, you want to do some candid shots. Or if you have a pose grip, I always tell, okay, stand there. If they're looking at you, very important is to get the catch lights in the eyes. Always make sure when they're looking at you, you get this nice catch light, and then you just say, okay, now I'm not here, just talk, whatever. And usually the last picture when they're laughing at themselves, usually is the greatest picture. And usually my flash is over here. So I'm picking up a little bit more depth, a little bit more shadow, so it's not so flat.
Yeah.
And again, with the Kobra being so light, it's easy to do.
So what strap you got on here?
I love the Black Rabbit. I've been using it for years. And again, it falls down, so if I need to have it hang off, it can hang off. What I also too like about the Black Rabbit too, I can put my little clip on here so my flash can go off to the one side.
Oh, so you got a little, it's called the Spider Monkey, that little Spider Monkey.
Spider Monkey goes off the side, so it's there. Again, so it's ready. I can shoot available light. If I'm shooting my available light stuff and all of a sudden I have to use the flash, I just grab my camera, it goes up, then I can just release it. Off you go, and then you can do your shots. And see that little light? Fantastic. So it focuses in the dark. You don't need it that much light to do it.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So you're good to go.
All right, excellent. So there's all of our gear. I mean, it's not too much. It's got enough, you can handle carrying that around. You don't carry the stand with you all around during the night, do you?
That goes over usually by the DJ or by the people. Usually when you're working with a team, they have an area where all their bags go and everything else. So the first thing you do is you check in that where it's going to be safe and left there. So it's always there. And at the end of the night, you know, not to forget it, to go back there, check in, and get the lights
excellent. All right, well, next we're going to suit you up exactly the way you look when you walk into an event. Everything in place. So let's do that.
Okay, cool.
All right, Paul, so let's suit you up. Let's see exactly what's going to happen when you walk in the door.
Backup bag, we'll go over with the DJ or with the people in charge.
Same with your stand as well?
Same with the light stand as well.
Okay.
Usually all I have then is my one camera wide angle. That's it. Just have that on, drop it down. My available light camera.
It's on the other side.
On the other side. And then with my flash goes in here. Has a quick release on it. So this is me, ready to go. So
just like that. Yeah. Excellent. So here you are. You're walking in. You have a dark shirt on, you know, so you look appropriate for an event.
Yeah, dark shirt. I do have, again, sometimes you have to cover your arms. You do roll it down just to cover it up. It's just to cover it. It just depends on the event and how end it is. I usually don't like to use it or wear a tie because I find it restricting, but that's me personally. If you're in an event and it's sponsored by a certain company, they want that high-profile person. It could be a CEO or it could be a celebrity. If you get them, you drag them over there, and in the background is that sponsored item or sponsored product. Yeah, that flash.
That's money.
Same at weddings. That's the money shot, and that's what you when you do that. Guess what? They're going to love that shot. Where if you do it in front of a wall, it's a little boring. Okay.
Yeah, doesn't sell their product. Doesn't tie them into the event that was sponsored by whatever the company was. Yeah.
You're there, and we're hired to tell the story of the night.
Yeah.
Tell the story. What happened that night. Get the highlights, and sometimes on the high-profile events, they'll have another agency there, and they just take care of all the celebrity stuff and everything else. We can get those pictures, but we're there to tell the story.
Tell the story.
To get the sponsored events, because when they want that event again next year, the sponsor wants all those pictures. That's why they hire us to bring us in. When shooting flash, always have your camera set to manual. Auto settings will not work. And when you do manual, keep it simple. Your flash will do all your auto settings for you on TTL. A lot of people like to use manual flash, but because I'm constantly moving, I love TTL because it's flexible. Manual, it's always you're at a set you're at a set distance, and it's not so good. So I always like to flash TTL, camera on manual. First thing you want to do is ISO.
Yep.
Don't shoot too low of an ISO. You can shoot of a higher ISO because I like to pick up in the background available light. I don't like the background to be dark. I want to tell the story. ISO can be anywhere from, I'll go from, on the Canon here is 1250, it can go up to 1600. Sometimes they even go up to 2000. And the reason I like to shoot high, I also like to shoot a wider aperture. On this lens, it's f4, so I will go to 4.5. 5.6 I would consider a little too, or even f5, a little too, it's just going to cut out too much light, and I don't like that. Shutter speed depends on your ambient light that you have. So again, in a room as dark as this, you can go as low as 30th of a second, 40th. And again, you don't want to pick up too much movement, but sometimes I like to pick up a little movement. Some people, they'll go too high, and it's like everything then goes dark.
Yeah.
Again, I like to tell the story. I like to show, sometimes I like to pick up a little motion. The flash freezes the action. So if you get a little ghosting, then obviously your shutter speed is too slow. Go a little higher. That's how you adjust it. Then everything after that is shutter speed. Shutter speed will dictate how much light you're picking up. And that's the beauty of it.
Well, with TTL, I mean, I teach this all the time with large strobes. With TTL, your aperture is going to communicate with your flash. It's going to give you an exposure.
Correct.
So now the shutter is just a matter of how much of the room do I want to see.
Correct. That's the only
so
thing that
TTL and the aperture are working together. Now the shutter's just, I want to see more ambient in the back. I want to see less ambient in the back.
ISO set, your aperture set, shutter speed will dictate how much light you're picking up in the background.
What really worked for me after I looked at the Kobra light is not just the great soft light, but it comes with a wallet that has CTO gels. So you can really, in a situation like this, you can warm the light of the strobe to make it integrate a little better with your scene. So we've got a bunch of people coming. We're going to shoot an event, and we're going to show you exactly how to make this work. So let's get to it.
If you want to do straight on-camera flash, this is the setup for it, so you can get it. And then if you want to do vertical or horizontal, you can shoot this way, or your vertical shots shoot this way, and you're good to go.
So there you go, let's wrap this up. So we've talked about what equipment to bring, we've talked about how to modify that equipment, how to carry the equipment, and then just really to finesse that on-camera flash. There's several things you're gonna have to practice with that to be able to make that work. It's not as difficult as it sounds. There is some kind of dialing of your strobe up and down to be able to get the right exposure each time, but after a few minutes, you'll pick it up pretty quickly.
Correct. A lot of people are afraid of flash. They don't like to use flash. They go, oh, I'm an available light photographer. But once you harness what a flash can do and you expose it correctly and with a nice, soft, diffused light, it will take it to another dimension. You're in control. You've got to bring light where there is no light. You're putting that into juice, and you're in control of your color and your exposure with a modifier like Kobra.
There you go. So if you enjoyed this content, make sure you like us, love us, whatever those things are. My grandma follows us. Why aren't you following us? So follow us here on the Slanted Lens. So keep those cameras rolling.
Go,
Keep
Grandma.
on clicking.
All right.
Go, Grandma.